الغماء بشرى لنا إنا وجدنا مؤنسا ربا رحيما كاشف الغماء قوم أطاعوني بصدق طوية والآخرون تكبروا لعطائي والله نحن المسلمون بفضله لكن نرى جهلا على العلماء والله نحن المسلمون بفضله لكن نرى جهلا على العلماء إنا نطيع محمدا خير الورى نور المهيمن دافع الظلماء من حارب الصديق حارب ربه ونبيه وطوائف الصلحاء الشمس والهلال سليلها ينمو وينشأ من ضياء ذكائي إني طلعت كمثل بدر فانظروا لا خير في من كان كالكهماء يا رب قومي غلسوا بجهالة فارحم وأنزلهم بدار ضيائي يا رب قومي غلسوا بجهالة فارحم
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Please, let's begin the new day with a new question.
Yes, I think today is the start. Surah quoted from chapter 3, verse 56.
So this is chapter 3, verse number 56. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إذ قال الله يا عيسى إني متوفيك ورافعك إلي ومطهرك من الذين كفروا وجاعل الذين اتبعوك فوق الذين كفروا إلى يوم القيامة ثم إلي مرجعكم فأحكم بينكم فيما كنتم فيه تختلفون. Remember the time when Allah said, O Jesus, I will cause thee to die a natural death and will raise thee to myself and will clear thee of the charges of those who disbelieve and will exalt those who follow thee above those who disbelieve until the day of resurrection. Then to me shall be your return, and I will judge between you concerning that wherein you differ.
So could you kind of explain to us how it could be up to the day of judgment? وجاعل الذين اتبعوك فوق الذين كفروا إلى يوم القيامة.
That positively proves that the Jews will not be altogether finished, will not be completely obliterated from the face of earth. They will remain, or a portion thereof, a portion of them, or a part of them, will remain till the day of resurrection. And this is what we observe in case of the past nations who already have been rejected by God, yet they continue. The idolaters have been so firmly and roundly rejected that they also continue. So for many nations to remain on the face of earth despite the fact that they have been rejected by God does not raise any objection against this phenomenon at all. So if the Jews are also permitted to remain here on earth so that people can see them, these are the Jews, you know. What harm there is? There's no harm whatsoever. Till the day of, not resurrection, but till doomsday, they will continue to remain here. Till doomsday, Christ will have a supremacy over all those who deny him. Now this part acquires a new connotation when the likeness of Jesus comes in this world. When Hazrat Masih Maud has appeared as a Jesus born in the Ummah of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, this promise which is vouched to him, this promise which was vouched to Jesus, will automatically vouch to this likeness of Jesus. And things will shift. If this promise is automatically shifted to the Jesus born in the Ummah of Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, then we must expect some Jews being born in the Ummah of Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who would be called neo-Jews, a new version of Jews. Now, if my claim is right, then I have to support it with some hadith. And I have a very clear verdict by Hazrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam before me, who declared that his ummah, or the ummah which is supposed to belong to him, will one day be so similar to the Jews of the earlier time, as though they were part of a pair of shoes. As one of the pair of shoes resembles the other, so the people of my ummah, or the so-called ummah, will resemble the people of the earlier ummah of Jewish people. Now you see the connection? So the promise till the end of the time continues. I'm suggesting this because some people may believe that Jews will be completely finished. All right, if they are finished, the old type, the new type will replace them. And the promise of ascendancy would also shift automatically to the Messiah born in the Ummah of Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Got it? Now, while you translate, I will run for the papers you delivered in my office, which dealt with the question of a verse which Abdul Rahman had raised.
I've got a copy here.
Huh?
I've got a copy of the same paper here.
But still,
Okay.
I would like to go for a while inside, okay?
Yes, there's.
Please. Will it take you 5 minutes to translate, or?
Just about maybe 5 to 7.
So, inshallah, I'll be back. You stop me. Continue.
اوكي استاذن حضرة الامين
You
والدين.
continue performing the role of translator which you did before.
اوكي قد وصل حضرته في الوقت المحدد. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
Now you bring out the copy of the question, which I promised I will answer later. And during this period, I remembered what my previous commentary was on this issue. Remember, I told you that once I had contemplated on this problem and found an answer which satisfied my mind about this verse. But at the time when the question was raised, I had forgotten that. That's why I said I will return to it later. Now I remember the answer very clearly, and I hope inshallah it will also satisfy other people's queries. Right?
يسأل حاطب بن منين على السؤال الذي قدمه الأخ عبد الرحمن منذ فترة، ويقول حاطب بن منين أنه في الوقت الذي سألني فيه الأخ عبد الرحمن لم أتذكر التفاصيل تلك التفسيرات التي قد توصلت إليها بفضل الله منذ فترة، ورأيتها مقنعة على الأقل لي شخصيا، أي رأيت فيها كثير من المنطق ولم أتذكرها في نفس الوقت. وكما كما وعدتكم قد بذلت مجهود، واليوم بفضل الله قد يعني تذكرت تلك التفاصيل وسأعرضها على حضراتكم، وأرجو وأدعو من الله سبحانه وتعالى أن تكون هي الأخرى شافية لغليلكم أيضا.
I'm sorry that I was misled,
I see.
unfortunately and unintentionally. When he told me that he has a copy of the same, but now you don't have to have any other copy, just turn to the Quran Kareem and reach the right verses.
يبحث الآن إمام أشرف الفاضل بلندن عن المصدر أو الآية من
فلا
القرآن الكريم.
تكونن ظهيرا للمجرمين is a verse which is in question. And how could Rasulullah sallam be Zahira lil Mujrimeen in the light of what was revealed to him? That is the question.
Cannot avoid it.
And how could he be in any way Zahira lil Mujrimeen? Please read.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وما كنت ترجو أن يلقى إليك الكتاب إلا رحمة من ربك فلا تكونن ظهيرا للكافرين. And you did never expect that the book would be revealed to thee.
इससे पहले पढ़े आयत.
إن الذي فرض عليك القرآن لرادك إلى معاد قل ربي أعلم من جاء بالهدى ومن هو في ضلال مبين وما كنت ترجو أن يلقى إليك الكتاب إلا رحمة من ربك فلا تكونن ظهيرا للكافرين. He who has made the teachings of the Quran binding on thee will most surely bring thee back to thy ordained place of return. Say, my Lord knows best him who has brought the guidance and him who is in manifest error. And you did never expect that the book would be revealed to thee, but it is a mercy from thy Lord, so never be a helper of disbelievers.
Now here, this last portion is connected with the previous verse in which a prophecy is made, which is of two parts. One, that you will be turned out of Mecca, and the other, that you will be brought back by God. So when this time was supposed to come, or actually when the time was to come, then an attempt was destined to be made against Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, to deviate him, to make him deviate from the teachings of Allah under the pressure that if you do not do it, we'll turn you out. So when you are told of a prophecy, the first part of which is about to be fulfilled, why should you in any way help the non-believers so that they let you remain in this city where you will return anyway? To which city you will return by the grace of Allah. So in that way, when they demand from you certain deviations from your belief, which they will accept as excuse to keep you in Mecca, remember this, that your departure from Mecca is destined, and your return to Mecca is destined, and you must never give in to their demands. This is exactly what happened. When his own uncle, Abu Talib, came to him and said, now the pressure on me is mounting overmuch. Now I cannot give you the cover which made it possible for you to remain in Mecca and perform your duties. I tell you that if you do it now, I'll have to lift that cover because I cannot confront my people. So you better desist from declaring that Allah is one. That is all I and the Meccans want from you. If you do that, then we'll do nothing to expel you from Mecca. To that, Rasulullah answered, "Yo, my uncle, withdraw your support." What do you think? You think your support made it possible for me to remain in Mecca and serve the purpose of my commission? I'm grateful to you for that, but withdraw it. Even if the Meccans pluck sun from its mooring and put it on my right hand, and pluck the moon from its mooring and put it on my left hand, I will never desist from that declaration of unity of God. So this was not an admonition for the fear that he would do it. It is an admonition to support him further to whatever he was destined to do. And by knowing that he would return to Mecca as victorious, it is further supported. فَلَا تَكُونَنَّ ظَهِيرًا. Remember this. After this promise, there is no question of your becoming in any way helpful to the disbelievers. You understand? This is the connection between the whole continuity of the subject from the beginning to the end of this verse. Are you answered rightly? You think it is a satisfactory answer now? Alhamdulillah. Please.
يقول حضرة أمير المؤمنين خصوصا بالنسبة لهذه الآية ولا تكونن ظهيرا للكافرين، يقول حضرته أن القسط الأخير من هذه الآيات أو الآية بالتحديد له علاقة بالآية السابقة التي احتوت على وعد من الله سبحانه وتعالى، وهذا الوعد سيتحقق في مرحلتين. المرحلة الأولى هي أن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم سيغادر مكة المكرمة، ثم الله سبحانه وتعالى في القسط الثاني من وعده لرادك إلى معاد من نفس النقطة التي خرج منها وهي مكة المكرمة. ويقول يعني يفسر حاطب بن منين ويقول أن النص يعني نص هذه النبوة واضح جدا. فالكفار في مكة حاولوا أن يخرجوا أو يضعوا ضغوط على الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم أن يغادر مكة المكرمة، فهذه الآية تفسر الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم أن خروجه معززا مكرما من مكة المكرمة هذا كان من تقدير الله سبحانه وتعالى وليس لهؤلاء أي دخل في ذلك. ويذكر حضرة أمير المؤمنين حادثة عم الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم أبو طالب، وكيف أنه طلب من الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم أن يتراجع عن ما أعلنه بأن الله واحد أحد. ولكن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم كما تعرفون هذه الواقعة الهامة والفريدة من نوعها فسر لعمه أي أنه إذا يعني أخذ هذا الأمن والرعاية التي كان يوفره له في الماضي، وإذا كان عمه يتصور أن أمنه ورعايته هي التي كانت تحافظ عليه وعلى الدعوة الإسلامية، فهو ليس على الطريق الصحيح، ولكن الله سبحانه وتعالى هو الذي كان يرعاه، وبإمكان عمه أن يسحب ذلك الأمر، لأن يعني أخبر الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم تلك الكلمات المشهورة والمعروفة عليه: لو أن قريش وضعوا الشمس على يد يعني الجانب الأيمن للرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم والقمر على الجانب الأيسر لن يترك الإعلان الرباني العظيم بتوحيد الله سبحانه وتعالى. وهذا فعلا يعني عمه لما طلب منه هذا كي يبقى في راجع، والرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم كانت الظروف واضحة أمامه، إذ النبوءة تخبره أنه سيغادر مكة ثم سيرجع لها منتصرا بفضل الله سبحانه وتعالى. فهكذا يقول حضرة من المؤمنين أي فلا تكونن ظهيرا للكافرين، أي ربما يحس بعض الناس أنه ربما في الظاهر كانت هذه الضغوط من الكافرين، ولكن الحقيقة هي أن هذا كان وعد من الله سبحانه وتعالى أي أنك ستغادر مكة وستواصل دعوتك التي أوحاها الله سبحانه وتعالى إليك، ثم ترجع إليها معززا مكرما مرة أخرى حسب نص هذه النبوءة العظيمة.
Now there is one little snag in this explanation, that apparently the Meccans at the end, when Abu Talib addressed Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam were not demanding him to get out of Mecca. But my explanation seems to refer to this. What is the answer to this? What actually happened was slightly different and should have been told differently by me. This prophecy was made many years before the time when Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was planned to be murdered. Now, if he could have thought of an escape route from being murdered, he must have become Zahirul lil Kafirin by telling them, all right, I will not pronounce the unity of God. Correct? In that way, he would save his life, but this worldly life, not the spiritual life, and he would help the cause of the mushrikeen rather than his own cause. So that was the time when he was confronted with two possibilities: to stick to the cause of unity or to abandon the cause of unity for saving his own life. If he had done so, he might have saved his worldly wide life, the physical life, but spiritually he was to be condemned by God. Now in this case, a very interesting thing is revealed. The verse tells him that why should you be worried about your life anyway? Because Allah is predicting that you will succeed in leaving Mecca and you would return to Mecca victorious. So where is the issue of saving your life involved? So go on sticking to the cause of unity, and by acquiring a softer attitude to them, do not be Zahir lil Kafirin. Where is the need for being Zahirin? That is why when Abu Talib approached him, he said, I don't need you. My life is not the issue. That is for Allah to do, to take care of my life. But I'll stick to the message which is entrusted to me. Now, another connection is made between that prophecy and this verse, that according to this prophecy, a time was to come when Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam could have been pressurized to deviate from the message of unity, while he was already told that they will fail to kill you because you have to leave Mecca and return to it. So what is the purpose of your supporting their cause anyway? فَلَا تَكُنَّ. This should further ascertain that you never deviate from the commission of pronouncing the cause of unity. Do you understand this? This removes the dilemma which was created by my first answer. Now it's all clear. Okay? ठीक है.
يقول حضرة أمير المؤمنين هنالك نقطة أرى شخصيا أنني لم ألقي عليها مزيد من الأضواء، ويقول حضرته أن الكفار لم يطلبوا من الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم أن يغادر مكة، ولكن يعني النقاط التي يفهمها الشخص في تلك الضغوط ربما توحي بأمور أخرى مختلفة. ولكن يؤكد حضرته ويقول أن هذه النبوءة المذكورة في هذه الآية قد أوحاها الله سبحانه وتعالى الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم ببضع سنوات قبل أن يخطط هؤلاء الكفار باغتيال أو قتل الرسول صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. وتحتوي هذه على يعني الشخص يمكن أن يحللها ويصل إلى نقطتين. الأولى هي أن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم يجب أن يحافظ على إعلانه بتوحيد الله سبحانه وتعالى، والنقطة الثانية يجب أيضا أن يحافظ على حياته المادية التي رزقه الله سبحانه وتعالى. فمن ناحية هنالك محافظة على مجال روحاني، ونقطة ثانية المحافظة على مجال مادي. يقول حضرة ابن أنين أن الآية تخبر الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم وتحمل في طياتها هذه النبوءة العظيمة من الله سبحانه وتعالى. وفي هذه النبوءة إذا غاص الإنسان في أعماقها يرى أنها توحي بمؤشرات خير كثيرة يجب أن نفهمها. فالله سبحانه وتعالى يخبر الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم في طيات هذا الوعد الإلهي العظيم أنك يجب عليك أن لا تحزن ولا تفكر حول اغتيال هؤلاء الكفار لك، إذ نحن نخبرك. الله سبحانه وتعالى يخبر من سلطته العظيمة الرسول صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أنك ستخرج من مكة وسترجع إليها مكرما معززا. فلذلك الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم قد أخبر عمه أبو طالب أنه لا يبالي بحياته، لا يهتم بحياته، لكن شغله الشاغل هو تبليغ الدعوة ونشر دعوة توحيد الله سبحانه وتعالى. إذن قد فسر لعمه أن الله سبحانه وتعالى هو الذي يتولى رعايته وأمره بالنسبة لتلك الحياة المادية التي يفكر فيها أولئك الناس البسطاء الظاهرين فقط. إذن هنا يقول حضرة ابن منين فلا تكونن ظهيرا للكافرين، أي ليس هنالك أي فائدة في الاستجابة لمطالب الكفار هؤلاء، أي وأيضا لا تبالي بتلك الضغوط والمطالب التي يفرضها عليك هؤلاء الكفار، إذ أن وعود الله سبحانه وتعالى أمامك واضحة غراء وستتحقق حتما رغم أنف هؤلاء الكفار.
Now, my interpretation raises two possibilities and answers both. The attempt of the Meccans to turn him out of Mecca and the attempt of the Meccans to kill him. They were determined to achieve either. And both these possibilities are mentioned in the verse in the sense that it is predicted that they will neither be able to throw you out of Mecca permanently, nor will they be able to murder you. So what is the purpose of siding with them at all? So this Nun Sakhila is to affirm that you will never be put to this trial in a manner that you will be forsaken and you will have to bow to them. The Nun Sakhila does not indicate the possibility of Rasulullah Sallam bowing, but to further support him. Never bow to them. We have vouched the promise. Now this is fully supported, this interpretation is fully supported by another verse of the Holy Quran, which I read before you now. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ يمكر بك الذين كفروا ليثبتوك أو يقتلوك أو يخرجوك ويمكرون ويمكر الله والله خير الماكرين. See, this interpretation is in complete agreement with this verse of the Holy Quran.
يقول حافظ بن منين أن التفسير الذي أعطيته يبدو فيه نقطتين هامتين. النقطة الأولى هي يعني إخراج الكفار للرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم من مكة المكرمة، والنقطة الثانية لاغتياله. فالله سبحانه وتعالى يؤكد عبر هذه النبوة العظيمة للرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم أن هؤلاء الكفار لن يستطيعوا إخراجك بصفة نهائية أو نفيك من مكة المكرمة. ويعني الله سبحانه وتعالى يعني قد وعد الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم بعودته هنالك، وأيضا في ذلك الوعد يحمل بين طياته أن هؤلاء لن ينجحوا في اغتيال الرسول صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. ويؤكد حضرة أمير المؤمنين ويقول النون الثقيلة المذكورة في هذه الآيات تثبت فعلا على تأكيد وحتمية وقوع هذا النبأ العظيم. ثم يؤكد حضرته ويقول أن هذه الآية نرى لها تلك يعني قاعدتها مذكورة في الآيات التي سبقتها، وأصبحت الصورة واضحة للجميع، وهي
سورة الأنفال.
في سورة الأنفال. يعني أقوم بها تصحيح، ونرى أن هنالك قاعدة لهذه الآية في سورة الأنفال، الآية رقم 31، وهي بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: وإذ يمكر بك الذين كفروا وليثبتوك أو يقتلوك أو يخرجوك ويمكرون ويمكر الله والله خير الماكرين. هذه الآية الكريمة التي بنى عليها حضرة أمير المؤمنين تفسيره، وكيف أنها أصبحت واضحة يعني للجميع، خصوصا تفاصيل الآية المستفسر عنها، هذه هي قاعدتها، وهكذا تصبح الصورة واضحة للجميع.
Abdurrahman, both your questions are answered. Now you remember this, huh? MashaAllah. But his questions are really very wise questions, very illuminating for those who watch our program, because these questions relate to certain verses which need to be explained to people. Otherwise, they can't find the same true explanations in the commentary books of the medieval scholars. This is the reason why you raise the questions, right? Or sometimes you do not understand the answer yourself. Sometimes you want to help others. Is that right or wrong? Correct.
يثني صلاة أمير المؤمنين على الأخ عبد الرحمن على هذه الأسئلة المتنوعة التي يقدمها في هذا البرنامج، ويقول حضرته أن معظم الآيات التي يقدمها تغطي جانب لم يقدم علماء عصور الظلمات تفسير مقنعة لها.
Yes.
Mr. Musa Asad from Kababir is asking, وهل يحق للمتبني أن يلحق الطفل الذي تبناه بنسبه هو ويخفي عنه نسبه الحقيقي؟ وما هو حق هذا الطفل المتبنى في الميراث؟
Zura, he wants to know the Islamic point of view concerning the adoption. Yes, okay. And he said, does the person who adopts a child, is he entitled to give his own name or family name to the child which he has adopted, and he should hide from that child his origins? And he said, what rights does this child who he will adopt in his inheritance?
So what is forbidden is adoption in a manner where it could be treated as blood relations are treated. What is forbidden in Islam is that adoption. Otherwise, to take care of yatama and others, to take the kafalat of those who have no one to turn to, that is promoted in Islam. But they are like your brothers. Like all Muslims are brothers. By doing that, they do not gain the right to be treated as blood relations. Nor the blood relations have an obligation to treat them as their blood relations. So they remain with you or within your family life, but without claiming any rights of a natural family. This is the true meaning of such verses as have prohibited the adoption. And such boys or girls should not be kept in darkness about who their real parents are. If they are known to you, you should let them know. if they are not known to you or to them either, then treat them as one of the Muslim society who are ikhwa. Treat them like any true believer who is not related to you, but yet you treat him as if he was your brother or sister. Understand? In that way, the laws of inheritance do not apply to such a person. And the laws of marriage also do not apply to such a person. He could marry the daughter of a person who had called him his son, because addressing him as son does not literally mean that he has become a son. It only means that it's a word of endearment. You understand? This is why I told some of the Ahmadis here in England and elsewhere too, who had adopted a child and kept the identity of his parents from him, so that he should understand them to be his real parents. This is a crime. This is a sin. It should not have been committed. So I told them to declare this to the boy. Not only in one case, but in many cases. And some of the so-called parents beseeched me not to do that, because they said it will create a big shock from which the concerned child would suffer. Because throughout his life he has been told that he is our son, and now suddenly when he is told that he is not, he will suffer a psychological shock. I told them that this is your problem. My problem is the law of the Quran. You take care of your problem. I do not care. This is a problem of your own making. Why did you do it right from the beginning without paying attention to the Quranic verses? So you must tell him. And I also told them, it is very naive of you when you think that he will never discover this. The society knows it. Many people will talk loosely. Many people will intentionally inform him, look here, they are not your parents. So what about the shock then? Now, if you prepare him for a shock for the sake of Allah, it will be of advantage. Then Allah will help you for this. If he is left to the society to tell him what he is, then Allah will not take care of you or that child, because it's a problem of your own creation, you face it. Then they understood. The boy did suffer, in one case, for a temporary disillusionment and mental readjustment, an emotional readjustment. But he suffered for a while and gradually returned to normal. Ultimately, I called him to meet me and directly on this issue. And after that, whatever remnant of hesitancy was left, it was completely removed. He walked out of my office so happy that now I know the position. I told him to start relating with his relatives also, who are in Pakistan. You can go and see them, tell them, I have a better place now. I have better understanding of Islam, and I act Islam much better than you do here. And don't be afraid of them. So he did go back to Pakistan, he did meet his relatives, and he was completely upright and said, I'm much better off without you. This is my faith. And he reported to me that it created a very good impression. So his resolve has been retrieved from all possible damages which might have been done to his personality, mashallah. Now I think the questioner also has somebody in mind. And this question is not an unrelated question at all. It's not an unprejudiced question, I should say. This question has an ulterior motive. But I'm not going to touch that. What I have told you, I have done so in a manner that it should solve all the problems Mr. Ode may have in his mind. Understand? Now, if he wants to ask another question regarding that case he has in mind, and regarding which he thinks maybe some un-Islamic practices may have been followed, that question should not be addressed to this meeting. That's a personalized question, and I would like him to address this question to me, and I'll answer him not through this public media, but privately. What? And you know what I'm talking about. Do you? Don't you know? Doesn't a case like this has happened in which families from Kabir are involved? Some families. You don't remember? Do you happen to know Mr. Ibrahim Ode or not? You still do not know what the question is about? Then let it be, unexplained. Okay, he will understand. Mr. Masood, what was Ode?
Musa
Asad Ode, inshallah. Please.
إجابة حاطب بن منين حول هذا الموضوع كما يلي. يقول حاطب بن منين: ما حرم في الإسلام هو أن تتبنى شخص أي فتاة أو يعني طفل وتعطيه حقوق ذي القربى أو أولئك الذين لهم تلك العلاقة الدموية المباشرة بك. وأيضا يقول حاطب بن منين: يمكن أن تتبنى شخص ولكن لا تعطيه هذه الحقوق، مثل أن تعطيه اسمك الشخصي أو اسم العائلة. فالطفل أو الفتاة التي تتبناه أو تتبناها يمكن يعني أن يجب عليك أن تعرفه بمصدره أي بوالده ووالدته الحقيقيين، وهكذا يجب عليك أن تعامل من تتبناه كإخوة في الدين أي كإخوة في الإسلام.
How long will it take you to answer this? Till the end of this time?
Yes, I think so.
So I can take leave?
Yes, sir. You may.
And do other work as well.
Yes, sir. You may.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.